Hello friends, welcome to Learning. My name is Dr. Ben. Today, we are going to learn some awesome stuff. Learning is for everyone. Let's make it fun and let's enjoy. Hello and welcome to Basic Excel Training Lesson 3, Formatting Cells. Module 1, Formatting Cells includes fonts, numbers, and reuse. Thank you for returning to the Basic Excel series. For those who have not reviewed lessons 1 and 2 of this series, I encourage you to do so. If you have not done so already, go ahead and subscribe below and select notifications. Let's dive into the scenario for Lesson 3, Formatting Cells. Here we have the Delicious Donut Shop once again. The boss at the Delicious Donut Shop is happy with your current work. You have just been assigned a task to update the current Excel Donut Shop's workbooks to coincide with all of the Donut Shop's standard operating procedures. You must apply formatting to the cells and cell contents, align content in a cell, merge cells, wrap text in a cell, and apply cell styles. This is a daunting task, you think, but don't worry. The modules in this lesson will assist you in taking on this huge task. Let's look at the learning objectives for this Module 1. At the end of this module, you will be able to format cells and fonts, apply number formats, and reuse formats. Let's dive in. Format fonts and cells. Cells in an Excel worksheet have many attributes that can be changed to set the appearance of both the contents of the cell and the cell itself. This is called formatting. We tend to use formatting to make worksheets more attractive. As a best practice, formatting can be used to help people who interact with the worksheet understand the information more clearly, easily, and quickly identify important points within the data. For example, you can use colors and font styles for emphasis and indicate if numbers refer to item quantities or amounts of money. As mentioned in past modules, there are multiple ways of doing things in Excel. Hence, there are multiple ways to manage font and cell formatting in Excel. I'm going to show you a few methods for formatting cells by using the ribbon in the Home tab. Our Home tab is here, and this is our ribbon. In this Home tab, we have a variety of groups called command groups, as you recall. We have the command group Font, Alignment, Number, and Styles, and so on. These command groups contain the most commonly used commands for cell formatting. Let's start off with the Font group, which is right here, the Font group. The Font group on the Home tab of the ribbon contains several commands for font and cell formatting. The easiest way to get familiar with these commands is to try them. Remember, you can always use the undo command if you don't like the formatting that you have applied. The undo right up here. If you use a mouse, you can display a screen tip by pointing to a command without clicking the mouse. This is also known as hovering the mouse pointer. Screen tips provide at least the name of the command, possibly a feature description, and sometimes, in parentheses, a keyboard shortcut for that command. Let's take a look at a few commands. Hover over let's hover over the B, this bold here. I'm hovering over it, nothing happens. Wow. Guess what? We must have an activated cell before you can see those screen tips. Now, let's hover over that B. There we go. It indicates it's bold, and the shortcut feature in the parentheses is Control B. And it identifies here what this particular command does. Makes your text bold. Awesome, huh? Let's take another look at this thing here. Let's look at the paint bucket. The paint bucket, as I say here, is a fill color command. It provides us with information about the background color. And below that, well, I click on that, it has information here about tell me more. You click on that, and over to the right comes a help dialog box, which is loading. And it features all kinds of stuff regarding the Excel command. Look at that. Isn't that great? So go ahead and, in your spare time, take a look at that tip and see what you come up with. Speaking of color for the background cells and color fonts, did you know that the color of fonts you choose may have an effect in how users react to and interpret the data you are presenting in your worksheet? If a font is difficult to read, this might cause a user of your worksheet to feel anxious or annoyed. A fun or cartoonish font may give an impression that the information is not taken too seriously. Our fonts are right here. We can look at those. So when you're looking at your fonts for your data, be very particular about what font you want to use and what message you want to send to your readers of your worksheet. Also, too many fonts in one page can be a bit confusing, and the font colors and cell colors actually depend on whether a person is reading a worksheet on a computer monitor, a printed paper, or a projected screen. So when you're looking at your font colors right here and your fonts themselves, be very thoughtful in your selection. Let's discuss the Format Cells dialog box. Apart from using the ribbons formatting options, Excel provides a few more formatting options for us. To access all the options for formatting cells, we can use what is called the Format Cells dialog box. There are three ways of accessing this dialog box. The first option is to select any cell. I'm going to right-click on cell A4. I'm accessing its context menu. I'm scrolling down to find the Format Cells command. Clicking that, the Format Cell dialog box appears. You can format numbers in the Number tab here, change the cell alignment, the font, the border, fill, and also add protection to that cell. Let's go ahead and close out of this, and I'll come back and discuss the particulars. The second way of accessing the box, the Format Cells box that is to select the dialog box launcher. Up comes our Format Cells dialog box. There we go. Closing out. A third option we talked about is to use what's called our shortcuts, our keyboard shortcuts. Using Control 1, my Format Cells appears. Now, one caution here, when you use Control 1, use that 1 key on the main keyboard and not your numbered pad. Notice, the Font tab provides you with more font commands than what you have on the ribbon, such as the underline. You can click the down arrow right here and have all kinds of effects of underlining. Double, single, and so on. The effects you can strike through, subscript, or superscript. It also has a preview of the font right here. Let's take a look at the border. Let's go to that Borders tab real quick. The border, as you notice here in your worksheet, the gray lines around all the cells are called grid lines. By default, grid lines are only visual aids to designate where the cells are in your worksheet, and the lines do not print. To add lines with a choice of style and colors around the cells, you use border formatting. On the border tab here, for the line, which is right here, select that desired style and color. What style do we want for our lines? Let's choose this guy here. The color I want is blue. I'm going to choose the blue here, accent 1. From there, I'm going to select the outline that I want, my presets. So my outline, and notice that below, the white box represents the overall selected cell and will preview those choices we've made, as you see here. Now to apply that, let's go ahead and click OK. Notice that on my A4 cell, let me click out of it, it's now blue. There we go. It also has that underline there, which I chose earlier when I was playing around there. Now, when you apply borders to a cell, it can be a bit confusing because cells share borders with their neighbor cells, as you see right here of a neighbor cell, right there. So the bottom border, let's say right here, the bottom border of one cell is the top border of another cell. So be careful when you're formatting your cells. You don't want to get mixed matched cell colors going on here. It'll look kind of clownish. It might take some practice to gain an understanding of how to apply the border formats that you want to use. So do spend that quality time getting familiar with the border formats. Let's take a look at the Fill tab. The Fill tab, basically, fill refers to the background coloring or pattern of a cell. We have choices here of simple solid colors right here. We have fill effects, 2 colors, choosing from here 1 color and 2 color, and the shading styles, horizontal, vertical, down, your choice, and click OK. We also have more colors to choose from here, and the patterns, the style that you want to use, and the pattern color. Notice that the rectangle here, or down here, shows a sample of that color that the background will be used on your cell. I've chosen the blue, so I'm going to click OK, and notice my cell here, A4, is blue. To change that back, I will go back to my Fill tab and click here, no color. Then click OK. I'm back to normal. Once again, be very careful when you're choosing background colors for your cells. You don't want to have too many colors in your worksheet where you're going to confuse your audience or your reviewer. Now, we talked about using our ribbon to gain access to our command areas. To quickly get there without using that ribbon, I'm going to go ahead and right click on my cell here, and notice at the top I have a mini toolbar right here. Isn't this great? I have a mini toolbar. On our selected cell, we right clicked and it shows the context menu and the mini toolbar. This is a faster way of getting to your toolbar and performing certain tasks. Just another option you can use. Let's go ahead and shift our focus now to applying number formats. So when a cell contains text, what I mean by text is, does the cell contain alphanumeric characters? Those that are displayed on your keyboard are alphanumeric characters. For the most part, the text displayed in the cell is what appears in the formula bar, as you see here on your screen. When a cell contains a value of some type, a number value, you can easily make the cell display the value in many ways to indicate meaning without changing the actual value in that cell. For example, let me just delete this right here real quick. Oh, got that going on here. Imported, I want to delete those, none. And change it back to automatic. There we go. Okay, so for example, if I enter the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a cell as I'm doing here, does that number represent a quantity of an item, an amount of money, a date? Now remember, dates are considered numbers in Excel. A number of minutes this represents are hours. Or maybe it's a postal code or a product number, which are not actually numerical values, but are seen as text values, the postal codes. So what do I do here? Is this a number or what? The general test for determining if digits are numeric values or text is this. Would or could calculations ever be performed on this value? If the answer is yes, and that includes dates and times, then it's a number. If it's no, then it's a text. Let's just do an example here. I have here the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to have another one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1,000. Make it simple. I'm going to add these together. Equal. Do you remember this from last module? Adding our numbers together. Whoa. So these two are numerical values in here. How about a text? If I go in here and put in a text number, a text actually, A, B, C, look what happens. It's not adding up. I just have the value from the E4, It's shown. I can't add a text with a numerical value. That's how you can tell if you have a text or a numerical value there in your worksheet. So be careful on that one. Let's take a look at now, let's erase this and discuss the number command group on the home tab, the number command group. The number group on the home tab of the ribbon contains several ways to select number formatting. The options in this group include 1. A list, as you see here, a drop down right here. A drop down list with choices for commonly used formats and access to the Format Cells dialog box via the More Number Formats command. That's down here, More Number Formats. It brings up that dialog box right there, and our numbers are right here in this category. We can change our numbers to reflect general. That means that we can have anything in there. Text, numbers, so on. Numbers gives you the number formatting with decimal places, currency, accounting, dates, times, and so on. When we use the number formatting here, or this particular format cells, this gives us an indication of what that number is going to be. And this is going to be very helpful for our viewers of our worksheet and for us too as we create a worksheet. If I want just the strict numbers, I will use this one right here for all of my cells and so on. Cancel out. A shortcut button is to apply the accounting number format, the $sign, the percent signs, and the comma, which is a large comma, is right here. These are the shortcut buttons right there. My accounting signs right here in English. My percent sign, my comma style, and so on. Now, buttons to increase and decrease are also on this particular command. They're right here. I can use those to increase or decrease my, oh, there we go. My commands here. Look at that. I can increase or decrease it where I want. I can change this number here to reflect right here, accounting. Let me blow this up for you. There you go. Take the counting style, and notice it changes up here as well. I can go down here and change it to, well, I can't change to a short date. Percentage. The percentage sign pops up down here as well as here. And I can go here and change it to scientific value. So about these number formats here, let me go back to general number. I'm going to discuss with you some very important facts to remember about number formats. 1. Number formats are applied to cells, as we talked about earlier. That format then applies to whatever may be entered into that cell at any time. Number 2. The number format usually will not affect any true text values that are entered in the cell. Actual numeric values will be affected. I'll repeat that. The number format usually will not affect any true text values that are entered into a cell, which we discussed earlier. So if I have a text value there, let's see if it's working out. A text value there, a number format shouldn't affect that. There we go. Accounting's been selected. The text is there. It's not affected by the number format. Currency. Nothing happens there except moving to the left or to the right. Assigned to the value. So our theory holds up. The number format will not affect any true text value. Let's delete this. And our third fact remembers that the number formatting does not change the value itself. The number formatting does not change the value itself. As an example here, I entered 1.25 into the cell that is set to only display one decimal place. It will display as 1.3 actually if I do that. So, oh my goodness, get back there. I'm going to delete this again. So I put in 1.25 as my original. What is happening? There we go. Okay, I put in 1.25 as my original value. If I change that to accept one decimal spot only, it's 1.3. When using a calculation, that will still display a calculation of 1.25 plus. So if I have a 1.25 here in H9, and I add these two together, sum these two together, what is my value? My value is 2.5. Remember, the number formatting does not change the value itself of the cell. So if I enter 1.25 in the cell, I change it to reflect that one decimal spot, which is 1.3. I add those two together, it's going to come up with the original value plus or minus or divide, whatever you have in the calculation. So if I go back and change that to my second decimal spot, notice my sum did not change. So be aware of the number formatting facts. Let's talk about reusing formats. Excel provides several options for formatting cells and cell contents. After you have decided on the formatting choices for a portion of your worksheet, it could be a tad bit frustrating and time-consuming to figure out what those choices were when you want to apply the same formatting to other cells. For instance, imagine you have spent a great deal of time and effort formatting cells on your worksheet to make it the best document that you possibly can. Here on your title, you have your project management data all laid out in Calibri 14. Your column headings are 18 font. Your data is font 11. You have your start date in the short date format. Days required is centered. Your progress is in percentages. This looks great. You've done a good job. But guess what? You stored your data sheet on a shared drive in your office. One of your coworkers sees the spreadsheet and adds data to it. It ends up looking like this. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? Well, guess what? Don't worry. We can fix this. Fortunately, you don't need to do anything to keep track of your fonts and formatting because Excel does this for us already. It provides a handy tool for us to copy formatting from one selection and apply it to other areas of our worksheet. This tool is called Format Painter, which can be found in our clipboard section or clipboard arrangement right here. When the Format Painter is active and ready to use, the mouse pointer, right here, the mouse pointer will have a paintbrush symbol attached to a thick white plus sign, and the selection from which you copied formatting will be surrounded by an animated moving border. Let's take a look at that. For example, I'm going to tackle this sign up here, or this border, clicking here, hitting the Format Painter. Now notice that I moused over. It gives me the instructions right there on how to get started. I'm clicking my Format Painter. Notice my big plus sign and my icon brush. I click in where I want to have this copied. There we go. I copied it over. I'm going to go now and take a look at my column header. I want my column header to be formatted the same as my other column headers here. I'm clicking onto my column header to select it. I'm clicking onto Format Painter. Notice my marching ants are surrounding the project name. Clicking onto boss's name, and there we have it. I want to look at my names now under the boss's name. I should be at Calibri 11. I'm going to keep this clicked here. Select Format Painter. The marching ants are there. Clicking onto John, and I'm now at Calibri 11. Now, notice that when I click into it one time, I'm now deactivated my Format Painter. To keep my Format Painter activated so I can use it throughout, I will need to double click on it. I'm going to click on Alice again to get that format of Calibri 11. Double clicking. I'm now selecting once. Notice I'm still activated. My Format Painter is still activated right here. Clicking again. Look at that. I want to now select and move down and let go. My Format Painter is still activated. I'm going to hit Escape to get out of it. I can either hit Escape or just click into another area. So now my worksheet is back to normal, and I'm happy, and we're happy. Next thing to do is talk to the coworker. It's time for a knowledge check. Attempt to answer the questions presented. You may pause the video after each question to review. Return to the lesson when you are ready. The answers to each question will be displayed a few seconds after the reading of the question and possible answers. Let's begin. True or false? In Excel, formatting can be used to make worksheets less attractive. A. True. B. False. The answer is false. Formatting is used to make worksheets more attractive. In Excel, if you are using a mouse, you can display a screen tip by pointing to a command without clicking the mouse. This action is also known as A. Autofill, B. Centering, C. Clicking, or D. Hovering. The answer is D. Hovering. This concludes Lesson 3, Module 1. Thank you for watching. Be on the lookout for Modules 2 and 3. Have a great day. Enjoy.